Good afternoon, students. Today we will see about next valvular heart disease, that is mitral regurgitation. So, as we all know, that mitral valve is situated in the between the left atrium and left ventricle, or it is on the left side of the heart. So, as the word itself regurgitation, so there will be a certain amount of backflow of the blood in the left atrium via left ventricle. Whenever there is a constriction or systole happen in the left ventricle, blood is pushed into the aorta, but some amount of the blood is pushing back in the left atrium through this regurgitated mitral valve, and because of that there is a basically there are two types, that is acute mitral regurgitation and chronic mitral regurgitation. Acute will be just because of infective endocarditis, acute myocardial infarction and trauma. In case of a chronic mitral regurgitation, because of chronic rheumatic disease of the heart, mitral valve polyps or left ventricular dilation and degeneration of the valve curves or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. These are the different kind of reasons which can affect your mitral valve, and it leads to development of mitral regurgitation. And pathophysiology, we will see in detail what happen if there is a backflow of the blood from left ventricle to left atrium. Because of regurgitation, there will be obviously a volume overload over the left side of heart, especially on the atrium, and which leads to development of over volume in the left atrium, and left ventricle is getting decompressed, and because of over volume of left atrium. Due to this, during the systole, backward flow of blood from left ventricle to left atrium, which leads to development of enlargement of left side of atrium, and ultimately rising the pressure over the left side of the heart, and ultimately over the pulmonary vasculature, which is ultimately going to develop your pulmonary edema. Now, clinical manifestation of acute mitral regurgitation will have a pulmonary edema and shock therapy, which leads to development of decrease in peripheral pulse, cool and calm extremities, and murmur is heard during the auscultations of heart sounds. In case of a chronic mitral regurgitation, most of the time it remains asymptomatic for many years, and because of development of primary disease, along with that symptoms, there will be a certain amount of weakness, fatigue, dyspnea due to decrease in cardiac output, and paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea and peripheral edema will be seen along with your primary persisting disease. In case of investigations, depend on detailed history and physical examination along with ECG changes, and chest X-ray will show about increase in the size of the heart, and cardiac catheterization will help to diagnose. Cardiac catheterization will help to exactly diagnose the left side of the heart, which ultimately saying about clear severity and pathophysiology as damage to the valve. In case of a medical management, infective antibiotics, infective prophylaxis will be required, depends on the primary disease. In case of asymptomatic patient with mild mitral regurgitation can be managed conservatively with a serial echocardiograms and with the help of beta blockers. But in case of a chronic regurgitation, then the patient is going for a certain amount of valve surgery or valvoplasty. That will include about your balloon valvoplasty and complete valve repair. As a part of PT management, we'll have to deal both. Either the patient is conservatively managed or patient has managed with this surgical approach. So we'll see each one in detail about if the patient is managed conservatively, then we have to go to control your symptoms which are directly affecting quality of life, that is dyspnea. So that can be managed with the help of dyspnea relieving technique and segmental expansion exercises to improve the cardiac performance. Along with the help of this breathing exercise, positioning is required in case if severe sputum is present because of congestions in the pulmonary systems. Overall fatigueness will be there, so to improve that we can start with the basic aerobic activity to improve the aerobic performance of heart. This is how the conservatively it is managed, but if it is failed, the patient will go for surgical approach. In case of surgical repair of mitral valve or mitral valve replacements, the patient will be going for a complete cardiac rehabilitation protocol from post-operative day 1, POD1. So initially in a POD1 we have to start with incision care and splintage along with deep breathing exercises, and in case of any sputum or cough collection is then that has to be expelled out with the mild coughing and huffing technique. Initially we may require a suctioning procedure to clear the secretion in the upper respiratory tract as well as in lower respiratory tract. Along with that, in POD1 and POD2 we can start with all kind of lower limb activities, active range of motion exercises and deep breathing exercises to manage volume and pressures of respiratory vitals. After day 2, on day 2 the patient can be shifted on the side of the bed, and we can start with certain amount of upper limb active range of motion exercises in corporation with breathing, like inspiration with shoulder flexion and expiration with shoulder reduction from flexion. This is how it can be managed. Abduction can be avoided during initial first week, and along with the incentive spirometry can be given to mobilize the secretions. If any kind of secretion has been noted during auscultation, then with help of postural drainage that can be drained easily. This is how from day 1 to day 7 slowly it will progress like that. After day 3 to day 7, slowly patient can be mobilized within the ICU, and if it is permitted with the vitals maintained, then patient can be shifted to the different furnitures and allowed to walk in the corridor, and patient can move up to 1 flight of stair and up to 7 days. After that the patient will be discharged from the hospital, and the patient will go for a next protocol that can be vary from a different amount of flexibility and active range of motion exercises up to 12 weeks to maintain the vitals and till the wound care has been done. And after the 12 weeks the patient can go for extensive program of cardiac rehab, which include of 4 principles, that is frequency 5 days in a week, then intensity will be from 40% of maximum heart rate, and we can progress up to 70 to 80% of maximum heart rate. Then time will be for improve the endurance. We can start from 80 minutes to 160 to 170 minutes of activity up to 1 year of complete rehab protocol. And type of exercise will be start with all kind of free activities along with the light resistance or low resistance activity. Then slowly we can go with the free exercises like combinations of upper limb and lower limb, like Zumba and aerobic dancings, and combinations of the movement with the physio ball. and later we can progress with the help of machine activities, which includes about treadmill training, cross trainers, and bicycle ergometers, and upper limb cycling can improve overall performance of the cardiac system and deal with any kind of physical exertion which leads to develop the body. Thank you.